Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, so a lot of people, again, asking about the Zim dollar. There's actually some news out there. The IMF said something interesting about the Zimbabwe monetary policies that caught my attention. Before we get started, though, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, now is the time to buy the shine. It is obviously on sale. When you go to buy your precious metals, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. Before we get started, I'm sure a lot of you are going, what was that shot of, Pimpy? Hennessy. Not a big fan. Not a big fan at all. Just celebrating with a friend of mine. Asked me if I wanted a shot real quick before I got over here on a video. I said, sure, let's celebrate what we're celebrating. Congratulations to him and his new promotion. The IMF praises Zim's monetary policy moves. So it says, while Zimbabwe has cleared whatever it owes to the IMF, which is, okay, first of all, this is awesome news for people in Zimbabwe. Stop dealing with the World Bank and IMF. They're asking for more money, but we're denied. They should be grateful about that. Because anytime you deal with the World Bank and the IMF, then you're kind of under their thumb. In order for you to get a loan through them, you have to do what they request of you. The IMF and the World Bank, of course, are controlled by the globalists. Although the United States controls these entities, they're not your best friend, trust me. So the fact that Zimbabwe, it looks like, has cleared all debts that they owe to the IMF, they should be grateful and move the heck on. Stay away from them. It said the global lender says the country's high debt levels and arrears with other institutions prevent it from providing it with more loans. No more loans. No more loans. Zimbabwe, get away from it. If you ever want your currency to start appreciating, get the heck away from the IMF and the World Bank. The fund provides extensive technical assistance in the areas of economic governance and financial sector reforms, as well as the macroeconomic statistics. The IMF is, however, precluded from providing financial support to Zimbabwe due to the unsustainable debt and official external arrears, the organization said on Monday after a week-long visit to the nation. Zimbabwe, Africa, all together, they have so many resources out there. They need to get rid of their corrupt governments, just like every other country is, and start learning how to manage their own wealth. I believe Africa is truly the richest nation out there. They have everything on that continent. Stop allowing the globalists to come in and rape you of those precious commodities. It says a fund financial arrangement would require a clear path to comprehensive restructuring of Zimbabwe's external debt, including the clearance of arrears, a reform plan that is consistent with macroeconomic stability, growth, and poverty reduction, a reinforcement of the social safety net, and governance and transparency reforms. I love how they always act like they're there to really help a country. But I spoke about this before when it came to Iraqi dinar. Dr. Shabibi already knew about the IMF and the World Bank. He said they're really great at policies that help keep inflation low, but they purposely do all they can to keep the currency devalued because it helps their globalist agenda, which is to move into countries with devalued currencies in order to take advantage of the cheaper labor rates and product costs. The IMF kept the country's growth outlook this year at 3.5%, but praised the policy interventions of the last few months by authorities, saying this helped stop the currency's free fall. I wonder if they're talking about the gold coins they were selling. The recent tightening of the monetary policy and the contained budget deficit are policies in the right direction and have contributed to the narrowing of parallel market exchange rate gaps. So if they're already doing all the right things to get their crap together, just keep doing it and stop dealing with the IMF. The economic growth forecast this year half the 7% recorded in 2021 due to the slowdown in agriculture and energy outputs owing to erratic rains and rising macroeconomic instability. The IMF said Zimbabwe's treasury has a higher growth outlook of 4.6%. So the president has led the charge since May the 7th to support the embattled Zim dollar, which was being sidelined by businesses and individuals in favor of the U.S. greenbacks through a raft of measures. The measures have included a temporary ban on bank lending, and reduction of the internal bank rate at which most commerce can take place, and central bank hiking the key interest rates to 200%, currently the world's highest. Oh my God. Can you imagine taking out a loan and having to pay 200% interest rate? So as much as they are doing a great job of praising the president, that's the thing about the IMF and World Bank. They're part of this globalist agenda, and they love corrupt politicians because they can control them. So when you hear that they're praising their president, it makes you wonder why. Remember, the recent videos that I've done shows that the president at first told everybody that they had outlawed the use of any other currency besides the Zim dollar, only to find out that the president himself was doing business using the US dollar and then allowing businesses to continue to do business with the US dollar. So what's the point in the law outlawing other currencies besides Zim dollar if you don't follow it yourself? The IMF said authorities in the near term are faced with curbing inflationary pressures by further tightening monetary policies as needed. Consumer prices in August rose 285% from a year earlier, sparking a depreciation of the Zim currency against the US dollar of more than 80%, making it Africa's worst performing currency this year. The fund recommended that authorities allow greater exchange rate flexibility through a more transparent and market-driven price discovery process, tackling foreign exchange market distortion and eliminating exchange restrictions. Are they seriously saying to let the Zim dollar trade on the exchange with a free-flowing rate? In other words, let the market determine the rate? You see, here's the thing. Foreign investors would love to invest in Africa for different reasons. How can you feel secure about your investment if the government is so corrupt and you really want stability there? So a very interesting article and words from the IMF. So what has happened as of today? Well, so the Zim depreciates by 1.3% as U.S. demand dips on the RBZ auction. So the U.S. dollar demand in Zimbabwe is reducing, which is good for Zimbabwe, but it is interesting that this demand over there in Zimbabwe for the US dollar is decreasing. Said that the Zim value of the week depreciated by 1.3% amid indications that demand for the greenbacks is waning on Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe's foreign exchange auctions. A trading update released at the close of business on Tuesday showed that the exchange rate depreciated to $1 US for 621 Zimbabwe dollars from the figure of 1 for 613. And so although they're saying the demand for the US dollar is going down and that the Zim is increasing in value, that's not what this says. So it's 1.3% decline. Allotments during the day were tilted in favor of supporting the productivity, which saw raw materials on the main auction receive $4.94 million US, machinery and equipment $1.84 million, consumables $830,831, services $1.57 million, retail and distribution of $107,761. So the economists over there described this week's outcome as an indication of waning demand for foreign currencies due to the obtaining tight liquidity. It says what we are witnessing today is a significant reduction in foreign currencies demand due to the liquidity conditions obtaining in the market as value for money continues to take effect, typified by high interest rates among other measures. It said that the top economist said the current developments coupled with recent policies to increase foreign currency sales to a single entity from 20,000 to 100,000 on the interbank market will further reduce pressures from the auction. In the long term, this will sustain durable stability while further reinforcing the disinflation narrative. So the issue with Zimbabwe is this. You can get a whole week's worth of great news about what they're doing, and then the following 3 months, it's all negative. They just revert back to what they continue to do that hurts the Zim dollar in the first place and the country. So let's see if they can be consistent. That's what we're looking for when it comes to the Zim dollar or any other currency or any other investment, which is consistency. Anyways, that's it for now. You guys let me know what you think. I'll look forward to your comments, and I will catch you later. I'm out.